Hello, this is Professor Kim Nelson with Jewelry Design Department, Fashion Institute of Technology. Another tutorial in our series of tutorials for the bypass ring project, JD237, 3D modeling in Rhino. Okay, I have my lower surfacing here set to take stones, but I want to work on this frond form that I have. And I have rebuilt these and made them easily amendable to control point editing, which is what I'll be doing next. When you control point edit, there are a couple of things that are very helpful to have available. You want to take your Select tab, pick the magnifying glass with the points floating in it, cascade that out. Okay. These two buttons, Select U and Select V, allow you to make group selections very easily. These other buttons are also, this can select UV, this will select connected points, this will select the next U point or row. Add, instead of selecting, it will add it, and so on and so forth. You can actually select points by brush stroking on them. But really, these are the two I have found the most useful. In addition to those, on your Visibility tab, this button right here, Invert Selection and Hide Control Points, is very useful to screening out which points you're looking at. I'm going to go ahead and put this object on the same white layer. And I'm going to go ahead and lock that layer. I'm starting to run out of layers I can use. I'm going to take these, group them together, and put them on a storage layer. That'll free that layer up for me. I believe that I have updated this with... Actually, I chose not to utilize it, so this can go onto a storage layer. I'll group them together first, put them on storage curves. This was just a graphic representation of the slope of the surface. Could prove useful later. Storage. This layer holds the curve network I used to create those surfaces. Possibly very useful at some point. Group. Storage layer. That's my stone. Storage, storage. It's my top view. I want that. This is appropriately locked, and that's my original block. I can group that and put that into storage as well. Okay. Just allows me to tidy up my file. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the control points. What I want to do, class, is I want to gradually start to slope this away from the edge here. I don't want to break the smoothness, so I'm going to leave 3 or 4 points. See, I'm not going to actually intersect this until I get way down here, so I can actually leave quite a bit, depending on when I want that to show up. I think I'm going to start it about right here. This row. Okay. I'm going to put this outer surface on a different layer and lock that so I don't select it accidentally. I'm going to select all of these points. And I'm going to start to bring them down. I don't want to, I could rotate these. I thought of rotating them, but I'm afraid that rotation is going to knock off the relationship with the edge of here. So I'm going to keep my movement to straight vertical up and down movements. As long as you move them directly up and down, you're not going to change anything left to right. You're only going to change in the z-axis, and that is the safest way to go. Maybe I'll leave one more row untouched. It's nice to actually just use a preset step. I'm going to use 0.1 millimeter. See if I think that's too extreme. Perhaps. 0.05. That's nice. Take this row out. 0.05. Take this row out. Click Enter to repeat the distance. Take this row out. Keyboard spacebar to repeat the command. Click anywhere for my point to move from. Spacebar again to repeat the distance. Hold Shift key to constrain it ortho. Take it out. Take it out. Take it out. Take them out. Now I'm going to take a look. I want this row of points to still remain higher than my stones. So that may be too much. Undo. And that's what I'm doing. I'm sketching. But by doing those in even 0.05 steps, or whatever dimension I do, I'm going to get a controlled taper. Before I do that, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab the pocket here at the end. This is where I want it the lowest. I'm going to take all the points out but those. And I'm going to remove the points along the edge. The rest of these I'm going to move straight down. I can establish that basin. I want that basin higher than the ramp of stones, but deep enough for good contrast. I'd like to know how much that was. It was 0.63. Okay, I'll make it 0.6. 0.6 of a millimeter is a pretty serious shift in elevation. Okay. Now I'm going to go back and do what I was doing before. I'm going to grab this and the edge. Take out the part that I don't want to change, roughly there. And I will resume that tapering. This time I'm going to go 0.03. Take this row out. Repeat. Take this row out. Repeat. Take this row out. Repeat. Remember, the keys to what I'm doing are I'm removing one row at a time. It's also important that I rebuilt the surface so these are roughly the same distance apart. It allows this gradual decrease to work a lot better. I'm repeating the move command, and I'm constraining the distance by just hitting enter. It'll keep it at that same last distance. And I'm constraining the direction by holding the shift key, so it always goes straight up and down, straight vertical in the z-axis. Okay, I'm going to look at that. That gives me a pretty nice fall away. Okay. So, I've got two things that I like. I like the way that this is falling away here. Okay. However, once it starts to really fall away from this edge, it's important to me to make a mark as to where that starts. It starts right here. I'm going to put a marker there. Okay, that one is moved, this one is not. I'll just put a 1/4 of a millimeter sphere. That'll mark for me where the safe zone is, where I did not do any taper, any shifting. Now I'm going to match this surface onto this one, and when I do that, I have to think of what's going to happen. This is going to buckle onto here. I don't necessarily want that to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten these points out. On this row, I'm going to draw a circle center radius. Doesn't matter how big. That's not the greatest color. We'll work in that color. Set a C-plane. And select that whole row going across. If I'd gotten the wrong direction, if I'd have pushed this one instead and it went lengthwise, I would go, oh, escape and then try again until I got the right direction. I'm going to project these to C-plane, effectively flattening out that section. And I'm going to do that going the rest of the way along here. Circle, C-plane, select my row of points, project. Circle, C-plane, select my row of points, project. Circle, C-plane, select my row of points, and project. Circle, C-plane, select my row of points, and project. Circle, C-plane, select my row of points, and project. Okay. Okay. Circle. Just checking to see how much more I had to do. C-plane to object, select my row of points, project. Circle, C-plane, 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 row points, project. And this should probably be on the same C-plane at this point. I'll check it. It is not. Okay. So, keep going. Select my row of points, project, and one more. C-plane. Select my row of points, and project. Okay. Get rid of all my circles, bring it back. And you can see that I'm starting to develop this in a way that I can get what I want. Select this row of points, take out the end, move it down. Okay. Now there is a controlled way to do this. I can select that entire row and I can hide the rest. Go into Wireframe. Orange is not a great color for this in Wireframe, so I'll take this to dark blue. Turn the points back on. Unfortunately, I lost my visibility selection. There we go. And I can now, in a very controlled way, keep track of how this row of points is developing. I do want to have some buckle in my surface. Now, when I start to lose the grid from behind me, it's just going to get hard, even though it's a vertical C-plane. So if I'm going to work from this direction, I will change to the right C-plane, just because the computer will see, it needs to see a grid. It really wants to see a grid. Which is a little annoying. Okay. Alright, I don't want to drop these beyond there. And I can, if I wish, use the gumball. I'm used to not using it. They didn't have the gumball in Rhino for a long time. And to me, it gets in my way. I can't see what I'm doing as well. Okay, I'm happy with that transition. Okay, I'm going to bring back all of my points by right-clicking on that. Okay, now I'm going to want to take these points and put them on the same level. So I'm going to be doing the same process again, as boring as that may be. Set my C-plane. Select my row of points, deselect that one, project to C-plane. Now that shouldn't have happened. I'm going to pause. That circle should have been drawn around that point. So, that being done, when I project to C-plane, it shouldn't move. There. Because I set it to that stone at that point, so that point should never move. Taking out that first one so it stays up high. What I'm trying to do, class, is have as little organic modeling as I can. I don't want to go in and move each point one at a time. I want to have consistency. I want to know what's going to happen. I want all my points to stay lined up or to stay symmetrical. The more predictability I have in those points, the more control I'm going to have. And I'm quickly approaching the end of this. Oops. I actually forgot to set my C-plane. Remember, if that original point moves, I've made a mistake. And I believe we're done. We're very close to it. I'll find out. Because if so, then when I hit project to C-plane, nope, they're still moving, which means I still have a variation there. Perhaps this one is the last row. Yeah. Actually, none of those should have moved right there. So, find out what happened. You're just always thinking, class, always thinking about what you expect to see, so that if you see anything else, you pause, undo, take a look. Okay? Unable to transform. Okay? Unable to transform because they're already on the C-plane. Okay, so turn that off, select those out, bring it back, put it back on orange, shade so I can see what I've got. Okay, this is a little dangerous here. Can you see how this is showing through? That's a little bit dangerous. I want to bring this down a little bit through there. But aside from those, it's actually a good start. I'm going to match my surface edge to see what I get. and then do an EMAP. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Obviously I have a lump here, but that's because that's where I started to sweep away. And I have this slight rise in there that I don't like, but nothing serious. Okay, I'm going to continue to refine this in the next video. Thanks for watching.